when you say a haunted doll, one, and I think I know how you're going to answer, but how do you determine if a doll is haunted? And what do you mean by they're haunted? Like they just feel a certain way? They do, like, what does that even mean?
That is literally my most asked question in the world. How do you know if a doll's haunted? How do you know if a doll's haunted? And the easiest answer I say is, you will know.
Right.
You will feel a certain way. You'll feel like you're being watched. Things being knocked over, weird coincidences, things being moved and hidden. Lots of little things, and it depends on the person. Like, oh, this is what she's doing to me. I'm feeling like my hair's being braided in the middle of the night.
Right.
That's just an example of what happened to me before. It's your connection with that spirit that's in the vessel.
Right.
What that spirit wants to, hey, I'm going to flicker this light in here, or I'm going to turn on your alarm clock in the middle of the night and give you a heart attack.
Right.
Those type of things.
So it's not that the doll like develops its own personality and consciousness. It's whatever is attached to the doll.
Right.
Is doing all these things. It's not literally the doll itself.
Correct.
Right. The doll's not coming alive.
When this doll is made,
right,
there's nothing to this doll at all.
Right.
But how do I explain this? It's more like, okay, someone's passed away. They're not ready to go. I see the light, but I'm not ready. I'm going to enter into an object that I used to have.
Right.
Like, that my daughter has. They find something that is connecting to them in some way. And it's usually dolls because they look most like a human.
Okay.
So they latch on to dolls. But like I said, I have haunted mirrors and other weird things that have an attachment, but it's mostly dolls.
Right.
Just because of the likeliness of the human. And I feel like I mostly have spirits of children in these dolls. Like, I didn't get to live the life I wanted to live. I died too soon. I'm going to live more. I'm going to live longer.
Right.
By finding a vessel that looks somewhat like me. So.
Yeah, I can understand how somebody might make that connection, like a ghost. Like,
yeah.
If you could haunt a doll or a beach ball, I imagine you're going to choose the doll. I mean, unless you're like a masochist who likes being bounced around and punched like a beach ball.
Like people out.
Now I'm thinking about it. I might want to come back as a beach ball. I'm totally kidding.
Tim, I have a question related to these dolls. Carter, producer for Ghost City podcast here talking. So you said you have like 50 dolls, and if let's say the lights are flickering, is it difficult to attribute it to a certain doll? Or do you know when things are happening, like, okay, this was this doll, this was that doll, or can it get confusing?
That's a good question.
I know it's good, Carter.
Oh,
what do you call yourself? Producer of the Ghost City Tours podcast? Yes. Carter? Yeah. That was a good question. Yeah.
I would say you get to learn their personalities, and when that light's going crazy, that's harmony again.
All right.
Not all the time will I know which doll threw that off the shelf or made the bathroom door shut. But once you get to learn their personalities, like, that was Andrew. He shut the bathroom door.
Right.
Like, you learn the goofballness of them, or the silliness, or the angry.
Right.
I've had to lock some dolls up before, and I have this little clear case. I have to shut them in just to kind of put them in timeout.
Right.
When things get real bad. But usually I collect the positive spirits.
So, the next question I'm curious about, and please don't be offended by this question, because I don't mean it in an offensive way at all. But how do you handle people who think that, like, you're crazy? Like, with all these haunted dolls and stuff, like, because like, if, and by the way, I'm like, I live in the paranormal world, so I am not judging, but there's people who listen to this podcast who are not part of that world, who would come in and see you with these dolls and 50 dolls, and they would think, like, this woman's just crazy. Like, how do you handle people like that?
I have gotten that quite a few times. And I will personally message them, and I say, I will send you a haunted doll to keep in your room tonight. If nothing happens to you,
great.
Then I'm crazy.
Right.
But then they're like, no, I don't want it. Or I'll say, come with me on a paranormal investigation. No.
Right. I deal with this too, not on the same level, but when people find out that I'm, own a ghost tour company, or I do ghost hunting, or I believe Bigfoot's real, like half the people look at me like I'm crazy. So I get it. but when you're talking about haunted dolls, I think there's even more people who are like, really? Like,
Right.
because I've seen some shit with a haunted doll before that was real. Like my buddy brought 3 of them to my house, and I'll be honest, I was like, this is stupid. But we set up some voice recorders and stuff around the dolls, and we left the room. And all of a sudden, we started getting these really weird EVPs. And I can't say they were coming from the doll, but what I can say is, like, I've never got EVPs like that at my house again, and I never got them again after those dolls left. So I'm not saying there's nothing to it, but you understand why people would think that's a little, like...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've learned not to be so offended by it. Because I do have the other half of the people who are really interested in learning or having a haunted doll of their own. I sell haunted dolls.
Right.
So I have a lot of people reach out to me. I want to adopt one.
So I'm actually being serious here. So can we buy a couple haunted dolls from you?
Absolutely.
I think I would like some haunted dolls in our office. What do you guys think?
I can tell that I send the story and their names that I picked up and everything that's happened to me.
And by the way, we treat them very respectfully. I actually don't mean this as a joke. Like, I think it would be very interesting to have some haunted dolls in here, and just see what happens. Like, even if we just use them on the set.
Talking about what you were talking about yesterday, Tim, I think it's a good idea for us to have our own studio somewhere else outside this building.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was going to send them elsewhere. No, I would be. We'll have to talk about that sometime. I think that'd be very interesting.
I only sell positive spirits. I'm not going to send a demon your way or anything like that.
Can we pay extra for one?
Huh?
I was like, can we pay extra for the demon?
No.
So
maybe.
Well, so what do you think of some of these other famous haunted dolls? Because here at Ghost City, people ask us about these dolls, especially in different cities that we're in. Like a lot of our tour guests in Key West, they always bring up Robert the doll, or we had Annabelle in our store a couple months ago, and then apparently it was all our fault that the plantation burned down and all this other stuff. But when you what do you think about those dolls? Do you think that they're legitimately haunted, or just your opinion? Or do you think?
Well, I have got to hang out with Annabelle a couple different times.
Okay.
And the feeling I felt from her at first was absolutely nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
But when everyone left the room, when I was just in there with her, I felt like I almost was in a bubble with her, like a black bubble. Even though she's protected, I got Father Bob to bless me and everything like that.
Sure.
I felt like she was pulling me in, kind of like when I followed whatever it was and tried to follow down the basement. I felt like she was drawing me in. So then I knew, okay, she's connecting with me one-on-one. And I don't know what she's trying to do to me, but she's pulling me in. And it's because everyone left the room. It was just me and her. I asked, you're not supposed to ask permission. It gives them power. People were in there. Can I please take a picture with you, Annabelle? I just went up and said, cheese.
Right.
Took my picture. And one of the pictures I took of myself, I captured a face in her glass case of a man.
Okay.
And then she was right behind me for an event, and I had my K2 meter up. Oh, I've never seen that thing go so crazy in my life, nonstop. And I turn around, peek the corner. There's Annabelle just staring at me.
Right.
I do feel like sometimes they hype her up way more than she could be.
Right.
But I would say she has something with her. I've never met Robert, but I almost feel the same way unless I'm around him and have some sort of an experience.
Right.
Kind of like how people are like, hey, if I send you a picture of this dog, can you tell me if it's haunted? I say, no, I need to hold it. I need to feel it. I need a couple days. It's not going to happen like that.
Right. I am very excited to get some haunted dolls in.
I have some good ones too.
Yeah. I think it'd just be cool to have them here. Like just as like a, I mean, this is not a museum here, but like, I feel like, we're the largest ghost tour company in the world. Like we need to make our offices feel a little bit more haunted.
Right. You can be like, purchased from Haley Michelle, the Paranormal Princess. This is Bob and Sandy. You know what I mean? People put just the cat balls near them just so they go off. You're not even focusing on the dolls. Oh, the cat balls are going off behind you. The dolls are interacting with you.
If you enjoyed this clip from the Ghost City podcast, be sure to check out the full episode right here on the Ghost City Tours YouTube page. Subscribe to our channel for new spooky content every week.